We're in the shade. We got our key to the bush right there, our block hanging in there. And we got that big stinking fir round right there. There's no point. Zero. You're so eager to get going. I gotta keep my eye open for that bear. He's probably hungry. You understand? Spend 15 minutes. My plan is to get this log clean and not stop to file a power saw once. This isn't bad. Look at, you see? I was gonna buck from up top, but I actually don't think I need to. I can come down the bottom with it. I like this better. I'm taking the chances that I got this fairly clean. Let's choke it. Friends, I can't begin to explain what these saws do to me when I get on them. They are by far the biggest, baddest timber cutting saw ever made. They just are, and they'll outcut the 090, and you'll be able to do knitting after, because they're so smooth. I believe these were designed by a faller back in the day at mCculloch. They just, you don't know until you run one. You just look at it. Most people look at, oh, it's a dirty old saw. It's rattle your hands off. That means you haven't run one. You don't understand. The 090 it'll shake your teeth out of your head. And the 090 is a wonderful saw for what it is, but it doesn't compare to this saw in many ways.
That was an experiment, friends, because of this muffler. And now it's loose. But I wanted to experiment with it. It's an old muffler off of a Pioneer. An old Pioneer, like from the early 60s. This saw, it could do better with muffler, I feel it. It can do better, and I'm running it rich. Friends, these 125s, you can literally grab them with both hands. You saw me. I got a couple other big saws I want to run today, so I don't want to waste all of it on this thing. This thing's just getting warm, to be quite frank. The muffler's loose, so we're taking it off.
I'm glad you're with me today, friends. This is the Poulan 655 boost port saw. This thing's nuts, and I've only had it out a few times since I purchased this saw off Kenzie's, my good buddy. And I'm still learning this saw, but it is a monster. Today, I work it harder than I've ever worked it. Friends, I just want to say, when you get into knots, just let off the trigger a bit. You're just batting up against hard. You know, we run into some big knots here. I work this saw hard. Listen to the way I run the saw with the on-off trigger. Friends, listen to what happens here. I'm going to tune the saw. Listen to the little slight rich bark in the cut, then I tune it, and listen to what happens. So, do you hear the little bark in between? I'm watching for that bear. Can you hear that little bark, friends? It's just a little in amongst the wind. That's fuel. It's important. So, that saw, I took it up to where it was screaming and cutting and not calving, like not running out of fuel, friends. It wasn't. But I also had it fat. I turned it about maybe an eighth, just over an eighth, and in between an eighth and a quarter to give it more fuel. Because I'm still learning this saw and it's still got a goofy muffler on it. This is scary. This came from Kenzie's. This is a Boost Port Poulan 655. And I love this freaking saw and I've been wanting to get it out for a long time. Kenzie's, brother, thank you so much for selling me that back in the day. It is a cherished saw for me, buddy. You seriously, you've given me some wonderful saws. That Kenzie's Bayou Country, brother, I know you're not doing a lot of social lately, but whatever, but I'm telling you something right now between you and me, friend to friend and man to man. That is a wild and crazy power saw. And you were gracious enough to sell me that. And I'm honored, and it is a cherished piece in my arsenal. So thank you again. I hope you guys understood that with that high jet. You can, have some fun for a cut or two, but don't be abusing your saw. And then when you run into knots, you can feel your saw. Like, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Do you hear me when I run a saw? I just don't lay on it. If it starts fighting me and I know I hit something, you can see your sawdust.
it's coming out in rips, that means you're cross-cutting or you're ripping and hitting limbs. Slow down, let the saw breathe until it picks back up. Here's the example right here. See that? That's gonna cut hard. When you hit one of those limbs, there's like 1, 2, 3 limbs there. That was a hard buck. So on and off the trigger, get through the limb. Full squirt in between the limbs. Full squirt in here, full squirt in here. Little on off when you get in the limbs. Is this making sense? Let's go get some water. Start your rituals now, friends. Young men in their 19s and their 20s and their, whenever you get out of school or out of house, there's a living and hard work. Don't forget about it. If a school ain't for you, then don't go to school. Tell your parents I said so. I wasn't a schoolboy. That's all I'm saying. If you're going to college, that's wonderful. Get an education. But if you ain't no good in school, you're like me, that just you couldn't grab anything and math didn't work and you couldn't read and you just couldn't retain anything, there's a living in hard work. And get your rituals going now. Get good at something and live it right to your spirit, and you will do just freaking fine. You will probably bypass most of your friends in college by the time you're 25 financially, if you got drive and you want to be nice to people and develop friends, not enemies, and beat people down and stomp on people. Bring them with you. Bring people with you. Reach down, grab people up, pull them up, take them with you. Don't try and beat people down and you know, if you get a business going and all of a sudden you need employees, pay them super good. Pay them extra. Give them bonuses. Let them run. Let them run. Over now. You got me all excited on these. I want to see these boots. Give me something, will ya? I'm kicking the snot out of these, Grant. Seriously, I really like these boots. They're just, like you say, I think if we, going forward, if we just meet in the middle where we were, from the black ones to these, we're bang on. But these are deadly. I have had to put an insole in them. But they're better than being tight. I want to see these there boots.
Friends, I tried to get this phone to sit kind of somewhere's better, but it's all right. I'm kind of bent over a little bit, but I just got back from cutting quite a bit of stuff actually. And this poulan, I happen to have my poulan hat on today, and I haven't run this poulan 655 that I bought from Kenzie's a long time ago. Kenzie's, I love you, brother. Thank you so much again. This is a nice saw, brother. I'm running her a little fat. I'm getting to know her. Pioneer partner. This is a very nice power saw. BP 65. Oh yeah. Look at the dogs on her. All right, now I'm cleaning my saws off. I always clean them off every time I come home from cutting. Where am I putting you now? Right here? So I'm going to show you why we pull the handle out before we shut them off. This is a Mac 125 and it come from Bear Claw. It's probably a cart motor. I got the compression button in right now. I'll show you why we do this, friends. I'll just stick this here, I'll push the decomp in, pull that down. Did you see that? These, especially these, the new ones, not so much, but this is broke right here. You can see it. I really like this little system, but it's broke. I got another one. I'll have to dig it out. This come from Bear Claw. This is a freaking beauty. I had it out today going hard. And when a saw shuts off, or I believe when any motor shuts off, it actually goes it goes backwards a little bit. It goes kunk, 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 and goes kunk back. I believe it wears on all the starter mechanisms in there. The little awls, they're called, or dogs. I just call them dogs. They're inside the starter dogs, you know, that engage to the flywheel. Those are getting so it's just a maintenance thing. Just something that you do. I hope that helps and answers your question. You saw it pull back on my hand. Well, if it's down and maxed out, it's just going to start wreaking havoc on stuff. These things got a lot of compression. This is a 125. Says right on there. Serial number 1112125. This is a dandy, this one. I think this is a cart motor from the Claw. This has got an interesting carb on it. Walbro carb. This is a beauty. This was from the Claw. I bought it off him for $450 before he sold them all. Legendary man. Yeah, this is interesting. Look at that. Well, how do you get the top of that carb off? Oh, one bolt. Interesting. Make sure that's tight, which it is. I love this thing. Love it.